Welcome to Bible Study with Fred this morning. We're going to discuss Genesis 9, 8 to 17. If you want to open your Bible there, I'm using the King James Bible, or rather, it's using me. So let's begin. And God spake unto Noah. Oh, by the way, you can read things I've written about the Bible on blogger.com, my blog spot. And God spake unto Noah and his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. So God made a covenant with Noah, his sons, and all creatures with Noah, that he would never destroy the earth with a great flood again. All those waters under the surface of the earth that I referenced earlier will stay under the earth, and all devastating floods are possible. None like this one that reduced life on earth to a precious few will be permitted again. The rainbow we see in the sky is an ever-present reminder of God's covenant that the world will never be destroyed by a great flood. A rainbow is an optical phenomenon that happens when the sun shines through water droplets in the atmosphere. Its existence is verification that the atmosphere of the pre-flood earth was very different from that of the post-flood earth. The fact that it was possible after and not before the flood might be evidence of the vast difference between the conditions. Just as Mount St. Helens eruption showed us that geological events that were thought took hundreds of millions of years to occur could take place in the span of hours, and that formations like the Grand Canyon and the Scablands also could have been formed quickly, are evidences of the great flood of Noah. So the rainbow, God's sign of a covenant not to cause the flood again, is evidence of the great change between old and new earth. We see evidence of the great flood all around us. We run our civilization on petroleum products that resulted from a tremendous biomass being crushed under great pressure. Fossil fuels are just like that. We find fossils of creatures that have modern representatives and creatures that are extinct as fossils. A fossil doesn't occur when something just falls on the ground and is eaten, rots, decays, appears. A fossil occurs when a creature dies in a sudden cataclysm and is preserved in rock by great pressure. Scientists will use terminology like a fossil is formed when a plant or animal dies in a watery environment and is covered with mud or silt, or they will just say they were buried quickly. But this is explained very readily by the flood of Noah given to us in the Bible. A primary source was God relaying what happened to Moses, who wrote it down. Evidence of the flood includes fossils of trees that extend through many geological strata or levels, so they are called polystrate fossils, as in Yellowstone Park, with fossil trees formed by rapid sedimentation and violent volcanic action. What modern scientists say are geological strata laid down over long ages were laid down rather quickly during the flood, an example of which we saw in Mount St. Helens eruption. Another evidence is that fossils often are found in strata that is reversed excuse me, or lacking in continuity. In other words, the supposedly older strata are over the younger. But if you trusted the Bible, you wouldn't need this proof. Still, it is out there as the most reasonable explanation of the conditions of the earth in which we live, if you believe God. The evidence, the facts don't change, but the interpretation of the evidence does, as the conclusions of modern theoretical science are based on ideology and the way they view the world, not incontrovertible truth. Think of the logic for it for a moment. Modern scientific theories fall under the uncertainty that, quote, to be accepted as a paradigm, a theory must seem better than its competitors, but it need not, and in fact never does, explain all the facts with which it can be confronted. And that's from Thomas Kuhn's The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, page 18. For example, quote, Copernicus' more elaborate proposal of sun-centered solar system was neither simple nor more accurate than Ptolemy's, a fixed Earth as a center. He said that on page 76. The truth is simply that, quote, we now know that the difference between a heliocentric theory and a geocentric theory is one of relative motion only, and that such a difference has no physical significance. That's from Fred Hoyle's Astronomy and Cosmology, a Modern Course, 1975, page 87. And yet Christians have, for the most part, bought into modern scientific theory and denied the Bible's literal statements where it is convenient to do so. When a scientist makes a declaration that appears to attack some point of the Bible, like the great catastrophe of the flood, consider what they are saying, why, and how. The theoretical scientist of today is not a prophet getting a revelation from God. He is a modern priest, only receiving a revelation from his own reasoning ability, which God points out in his word is damaged and unresponsive to the truth of God. We'll stop there today. Hope you study your Bible. Talk to you again soon.